Won't it be Ryan the Great? Oh, man, I haven't filmed a video in days. It has been a few days since I filmed a video. What is it? Since like Wednesday or whatever, last Wednesday. I hate this thing. It's like I can't do anything after I'm done school. It is pretty crazy. I really can't do much. It's kind of sad, but I'm going on this Wednesday to see if I can get this thing off. Hopefully I can. I'm starting to do things. I'm starting to play sports, and I played Call of Duty for the first time yesterday to try and work my thumb out. I have been like lifting weights using my thumb, so I should be okay for Wednesday, and we'll be back. We'll just staying back on YouTube. I have a schedule for this week, but as you guys know, we are going to be looking at the Eagles free agents that have expiring deals and whether I do want to bring them back or not. So we're going to be talking about that. So let's just get right into it. But before we get right into it, guys, make sure you subscribe with your post notifications on. Go subscribe to my Brother the Great Vlogs. Go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cod Great. And make sure you follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into the video. So first, starting off, I'll talk about the guys that we shouldn't bring back and the reason why. And then I'll talk about the guys that we should bring back. And I'll talk about, what number of years I want on their contracts. I won't talk about the money side of it. You guys can figure that out for yourselves. We'll figure out the business side really of it later. So obviously we're going to start off with the guys that we shouldn't bring back. So starting off with Marcus Epps. He hasn't improved over the last few years. There's nothing special. It's nothing like that stands out in his game. He's not really the best tackler. He's not not the best in coverage. And since Reed Blankenship has shown that he can be the starting safety, starting strong safety. He had a good showing in the second half of the season when he got his chance. Got the interception in the first games, made a few nice tackles. Some good plays. I really like what I've been seeing from Blankenship, so I think it's time that we give him the role and move on from Epps. Next, Tyree Jackson. I mean, he's just a bum. There's really no other way you could put it. And there's no reason to bring him back when we have Goddard, Stoll, and number 81 on the tight end list. I don't know how to say his name. Catarella. I got to figure it out. I just can't pronounce it. But we have 3 tight ends that we've used last year. There's really no reason to bring him back. Now, I don't know if this is controversial or not, but I don't think we really should bring back Linval Joseph. It's time we give Davis the role as, one of the top nose tackles this year, saying that he won't get hurt this year. And with the Eagles projected to take a nose tackle in some of people's mock drafts with the top 10 pick, there's really no reason to bring Joseph back, and he's not really getting any younger as well. Next, Kazir White. We want to bring in Nakobe Dean, right? He was hyped up as the steal of the draft in the 3rd round, and was really only used as special teams this year. I think Dean is a way better tackler on the run than White, and that's something the Eagles struggle with. So, I think letting White walk would be the right move. Also, I thought Dean did a great job of, when running backs tried to go around then, he did a great job making tackles there. I think he played in the Titans game. He did a good job of that. So there were some glimpses of him doing something on defense that, I think that the Eagles could use to improve. Next, Andre Dillard. He has sucked ever since we have drafted him. I'm tired of him. It's time for Hallie to realize his mistake and let him walk. There's really no reason to even try and renegotiate with him. He just sucks, and it's time for Mailata to become one of the top left tackles in the NFL right now. Mailata is great. I'm tired of people saying he was the weak point of the offensive line. He was not. Dillard was a bum, and he took his job after not even knowing what American football was about 5 years ago. All right, let's bring him. Let's just let Dillard walk. Next, Robert Quinn. When we traded for him, I made a short about it. I was really happy that we traded for Robert Quinn. I thought it was a great move to add some depth to our team. And he did absolutely positively nothing in the season, nothing in the playoffs. He was just kind of there. It might be from a lack of snaps, but that really doesn't take away from the fact that when he was on the field, he really didn't do much. It is what it is. He's just not the same person he was. He's not that 18.5 sack person that he was 2 years ago. Just letting him walk will be fine. Now, these last 2 guys are going to be controversial. I think the Eagles should let Fletcher Cox walk in free agency. Yeah, I said it. I know he's a legend here, and I know he had 7 sacks last year, but that means he's going to want a nice contract. Not a big contract, but he's going to want, a half-decent paid contract. And we need to save money. He's not getting any younger. And once again, we might draft a nose tackle. So we're really looking towards the future here. I love Fletcher Cox with all my heart and soul. But 2 years ago, he didn't have a good year. This year, he had a good year. But everybody had a good year on that defensive line. It's just time that we might have to move on from Fletcher Cox. Unless he's willing to take only like a few $1 million, then I could see it, the Eagles bringing him back. But other than that, I really don't want to bring him back. Every single person is gonna get mad. Every single homer is gonna get mad at me for saying this. The Eagles shouldn't bring back Miles Sanders. I know, crazy, right? He's coming off a 1,000-yard season. But with this O-line, I think any running back would have had a 1,000-yard season this year. I mean, Sanders is an average running back with the top offensive line in the NFL. Any running back is going to have a good year. Let's not just act like, any running back couldn't have done that. And look at the running back class this year. Bijan Robinson, Jeremiah Gibbs, if that's how you say his name, from Bama. I don't think Bijan will fall to number 30, but Gibbs will definitely fall to 30. I wouldn't mind taking him or maybe trading up in the second round to get him. I wouldn't mind that. These guys are just cheaper versions of Miles Sanders. And Sanders only averaged 2 yards a carry in the Super Bowl and wasn't even the best running back throughout the playoffs. Gainwell was. I really don't want him back. Once again, an average running back with a great offensive line is going to have a 1,000-yard season and over 10 touchdowns. I really don't want to bring Sanders back. But players I do want back. So we'll start off with Gardner Minshew. I understand that he did go 0-2 this year, but he did have a good game against the Cowboys. Obviously, against the Saints, I hated his performance. But he's one of the best backups in the NFL. And since Hurts has more of a chance of getting hurt, a lot more than some other QBs because he's mobile, bringing one of the best backups in the NFL would be nice. So I'd say a 1-year deal for him. Next, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He was one of the best safeties in the NFL. He was tied for the most picks, and he still missed 5 games. That's just how great Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was this year. A great tackler. He saved a lot of big plays this year. He can bait the quarterback into throwing his way. Can also play in the slot against tight ends. Not sure why Gannon didn't have that in the Super Bowl. And, of course, why? Of all times. Okay. Why is the phone... Why... Okay, not my problem. A phone rings in the middle of my video. I gotta get that phone out of here, bro. I'm telling you guys right now. But anyway, so he can play good in the slot. I'm not sure why Gannon in the Super Bowl didn't have him play against Kelsey, but it is what it is. If we can't get a deal done, which it doesn't seem like we are, we can tag him. But if we can do it, I'd say a 3-year deal. He's been great this year. It's time we reward his services. Next, Rick Lovato. He's been good on special teams throughout his career here, so it'd be nice to bring him back on a good 2-year deal. Not too much money, though. Maybe like $800,000 per year, something like that. Next, Zach Pascal. I feel like he could do so much for the Eagles if they use him right. He can play in the flats. He can be good on RPOs. I'd love to utilize him because I think Zach Pascal has good potential. So give him another chance. I'd like to bring him back on a 1-year deal. Boston Scott, in my heart, I can't get rid of him. He owns the New York Giants. He's really elusive, and I'd love to keep the 3-headed monster together, minus Miles Sanders at the running back position. So a 1-year deal I think would be great. Next, Ndamukong Suh. I know everybody's thinking, why would we bring him back over Fletcher Cox? Well, Cox is more money, and he's not a good run stopper. Our edges are more of the pass rushers, so it kind of works out. Suh's a run stopper, and in the playoffs, he did do a pretty good job of rushing the quarterback. So let's not just say he's not a half decent pass rusher, So, and then next, T.J. Edwards. He had a breakout year. He was one of the reasons the Eagles didn't give up a touchdown on every running play. He's decent in coverage. He's a great tackler. I really don't know a play where you could, I really don't know any footage that you could tell me where people were breaking his tackles. He made some key tackles this year. I loved what T.J. Edwards did this year. He was always, having the most tackles on the team. And him next to Nakobe Dean would be scary, so I'll say a 2-year deal for T.J. Edwards. I was kind of going back and forth on this one. I do think we should bring back Sayamalo. I do think he was the weak point of the offensive line, but still was pretty good. I really don't want to move Juergens to the right guard position, so bringing him back in a 2-year deal is what I want. I really don't like giving offensive linemen that big of deals because they do tend to get injured a lot. But, since he was what I say the weak point, I would say just a 2-year deal will be fine. We don't have to pay him that much. Next is going to be, this might be controversial, but I'll say James Bradbury. I know he didn't have a good Super Bowl performance, and I know the holding call that sealed the game. Do I think it should have been a holding call? No, but, that's something we could debate later. But he was second team All-Pro, held QBs to, one of the lowest rates and completion percentage. We can't discard that just for one play. I want to give him a 3-year deal. I loved what he did this year. He was great for the Eagles. I want to bring him back on a 3-year deal. Next, this is kind of a no-brainer, Jason Kelce. If he doesn't retire, I'll say a 1-year deal. He's one of the best centers in the NFL, can block up field, pass protect, run block, do whatever we want him to do. We already know this. I can't ever let Jason Kelce walk. Even if it was the last thing I'd do, I would never let him walk. I love him. Bring him back, please, if he doesn't retire. Next is Javon Hargrave. 11 sacks is all I really need to say. Javon Hargrave, he's only 30 years old. I know that is pretty old for nose tackles, but, it is. But, 11 sacks, that's just great. He doesn't really even need to run stop because we have Davis, possibly Sue or Joseph coming back. We might even draft a nose tackle, and he was one of the reasons we had 70-plus sacks this year, so I'd say give him a 3-year deal. Next, now this one also might be controversial, but I'll say bring back Brandon Graham, another one with 11 sacks this year. Just a 1-year deal, though, because we don't know when he will retire. It kind of depends, on what kind of year he has next year. If we bring him back the following year, but we're not looking towards that. So we'll worry about that in 2024. But he could really help, if we get a guy like Myles Murphy through in the draft, an edge rusher, or maybe in the second or third round, possibly. Whatchamacallit. He's not getting any younger, though, as well. But I think he could help out guys like Sweat and Reddick for 1 more year, and then head right into retirement, or if we just let him walk based on the year he has next season. So those are the guys that I want to bring back and not bring back, but I do have to say this. We have to re-sign Jalen Hurts, all right? This is Jalen Hurts we're talking about. I think he should have won the MVP this year. You guys already know how I thought. He showed out in the Super Bowl, 300-plus passing yards, proved to be a top passer in the NFL, proved all these doubters wrong. People are taking him over Joe Burrow, Josh Allen right now, 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And with more passing attempts, he could be top 5 in passing yards next season. We have to lock him in. Honestly, he could play for $45 to $50 million per year. That's literally what the Eagles probably should give him. That's what I'll say. 4 years, however much money you want, just make sure it's $45 to $50 million per year. I'll say 42 to $43 million. That's what I'll do. He could be in play for more, though. We'll see. But that'll do for this video, guys. Make sure you subscribe with your post notifications on. Your boy is back. Make sure you go subscribe to my Brother Than the Great vlogs. Go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cod Great. Make sure you follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. And as always, Ryan the Great out. Peace.